Good morning, Hive fans. Welcome to this morning's live stream of the 2023 Hive Online World Championship. We've got a match scheduled this morning between Stepanzo and Aenorman43. I'm in the lobby at Board Space waiting for them to join. We've already got a couple players coming in to watch. We've got Ordep Kubik, that's Pedro from Spain. He is another YouTuber. YouTube's in public broadcasts his videos in Spanish. And then we've got a South American, Cower50. Good morning, Carl. So, Mehul Gajwani asks, what happened between A.E. Norman and Apollo Q? Won the deciding game and qualified. So, hopefully it'll be a good match this morning. We've had one match started already of the 8 matches in the round of 16, and that was Frasco 92 playing against SP Fish. They both won as white, 2 exciting games. I live streamed them earlier. And I have started something new. If you subscribe to my channel, you probably already see that. I'm doing a replay without comment, which is a 2 to 3 minute replay from Board Space. So if you don't have an account at Board Space or don't want to log in at Board Space, then you can actually review the games without comment. And of course, if you want to make comments about the games, I'd welcome those comments in the comment section of those videos. So let's take a quick look, if we will. Here is the bracket for the World Championship. As you can see, Frasco and SP Fish have already played their game. Today we'll be watching Stepanzo versus A.E. Norman. Of course, Stepanzo is last year's runner-up. He got the 2nd seed, and Aenorman43 finished virtually a dead heat with Quadlibet in Group E. Quadlibet, however, won the final tiebreak, which was seeding, because Quadlibet was the 1st seed in Group E. A.E. Norman was the 2nd seed in Group E. And A.E. Norman has entered the lobby, so he should be joined. It should be going on very soon. And it's interesting, of the 8 groups, 16 players, number 1 and number 2 seed advanced 15 of the 16 times. The only one that in Group A was Judoka. Judoka swept through that group, but P. Capella was the number 4 seed in that group, and he qualified. Now, you've got an interesting thing going on over at Discord. Of course, Stepanzo usually does this. He did a poll asking who did the members of Discord think were going to win the upcoming 8 matches. And it's very interesting because 1, 2, 3, 4 of them almost unanimous. Judoka, 18 of the 19 players expect him to beat Louise. Of course, he's the reigning world champion. Quadlibet, 18 of the 19 expect him to beat Hive 2, even though he wasn't as highly seeded because he didn't finish in the top 4 last year. He is a 4-time world champion. KP3, chosen 18 out of the 19 to beat Woot. Woot is a relatively new player, another strong Russian playing in our tournament. Well, I say our tournament because I'm on the committee, but officially this is totally unofficial, my YouTubing for the tournament. And then the other near unanimous was Happy Kiwi, 17 of 19, chose him to beat P. Capella. There were a couple that were not quite so landslide-ish. Stepanzo, 13 of the 19, chose him to beat Aenorman43. And of course, after today's match, we should see how accurate that might be. From what I understand, they're probably going to be playing 2 games this morning, time permitting. And then Gandak, 15 people chose Gandak. Gandak, of course, was one of the top 4 from last year. Gigi was chosen in 4 by 4 of the 19 players, but 2 matches were essentially toss-ups. Industus and Dutters. Industus had 10 out of the 19, and then Frasco 92 against SB Fish. 10 of the 19 players chose Frasco. So there's basically 2 toss-ups. We'll see how accurate the predictions are over at Discord. Good morning to Chris Nelson. Plays under the name Ratcatcher. I've actually met Chris in person at the Hive Live event in Minneapolis. Of course, they're not going to have one this year, but we'll see what happens in 2024. And over at Board Game Geek and at Discord, I've started a poll to determine if we should be looking to having a North American World Championship live in-person event at next year's Gen Con 2024 in August. Okay, the players have joined, so we will be getting on with it here very quickly. So let's get this gone. We'll get the review room open. And let's see how quickly I can get the live action going here. Big Meep is joined. That's Captain Jack. That's Jack from our team tournament, our team group, Humble Hive Boys. I think Stepanzo might be traveling, but if he's not traveling, that means it's real early where he is at 6:30 in the morning. Oh, let's see if we can get going here. Okay, it looks like we got up and going fairly quickly here, so let's get that moved over and let's see if we can get caught up. So Aenorman started with with a hub opening, and Stepanzo got in the basic anti-spawn defense. As most of these games, they go very quickly at the very beginning. First ant move sees Aenorman pinning Stepanzo's first ant. And Nathaniel, I'll answer your question in the chat in a minute once I get caught up here. If I get very good response, lots of viewers and lots of people saying they'd like it, then yes, then I can add some of the earlier matches. Okay, rather than pin the first ant, Stepanzo elected to bring in the mosquito. So Aenorman has not yet brought in the pill bug. And as we regularly see in these matches, lots of ants coming in early. Most of you are familiar with the format. It's a 20 plus 20, which means you have 20 minutes. Each player starts with 20 minutes and adds 20 seconds each time they move, each time it becomes their turn. Okay, I had a break here so I can answer Daniel Payne. And Mehul Gajwani asked what happened between A.E. Norman and Apollo Q. He's an Apollo Q fan. It was a very, very good match, but A.E. Norman ended up winning that match. Ordep Kubik has joined as a spectator on Board Space. We've got 7 concurrent viewers already. Make sure you drop me a note. Let me drop a chat. Let me know who you are. Now, one thing that I like to try in situations like this, if the black mosquito goes to there, there's nothing can stop black from separating the pill bug and the queen. If white anchors down the pill bug, white can just warp out the queen. Actually, that's not true either. He could actually warp the queen away. So I was wrong there. I'm not thinking right. Okay, he pins the white ant, which is interesting because that, of course, helps in the ant game, but it also moves ant power from the pill bug. And all the ants are in early. All 3 ants in the mosquito, and both mosquitoes are currently free with ant power. Okay, Marco says yes, please. So maybe I will be doing that. So make sure you tell your Hive friends to watch those videos and comment. I thought about doing that with the videos without comments because I know a lot of people don't like to use board space because it still uses Java. And of course, Java is old technology, but it's still the best site going for live tournament play, live play at all, in any way. White has formed a beetle factory here, so could get a beetle up if he wanted to, but instead he elects to choose to pin the ant, keeping ant power. They're moving along very quickly. We're only less than 8 minutes in, and we've already gone through 17 moves. So if Stepanzo elects to move the mosquito out, which he did, looking at it looks like, independent from that position, that's what he ended up doing. Let's see if we can bring this, add this over. I'm surprised neither player opened with a beetle factory. I'm sorry, with a buffer opening. Aenorman is starting the beetle attack. And is stepanzo going to allow it to happen? So stepanzo elected to bring in the spider, defending grasshopper. That's interesting. The black spider attacked. Of course, one reason for this could very well be to get the spider into position, because if you notice, the white beetle is way out here on the outer reaches of the hive, where black could, in theory, get a beetle a lot closer. Roxar has joined. That's Robert Uzar. Maybe it's a Saturday morning, so he's not watching at work today. Of course, Frasco, Roxar, and Ordep Kubik were the top three finishers in the Fine Sports Olympiad Hive competition. I'm going to take a quick glance at the lobby to see how many people we've got live watching. We've got 6 right now. And as I expected, Stepanzo's using that attacking spider as a spawn point to bring in the beetle. So we might have a race going on here. If, look at a couple moves by Frasco has joined. Series of moves for white. Okay. White was not quite ready to yet to let that beetle get up. Now will black do the same? Black could bring in a beetle here in a defensive position, in a position also that cannot be pinned. That beetle is still quite a ways away from moving in to qualify for the win. Another option might be to bring in a spider, looking at doing a pin replacement and also setting up a hex trap. He elects to bring in the defending defending beetle. And the white grasshopper ends the black mosquito. Now, is stepanzo going to leave the beetle in place, playing defense, or is he going to attack and head toward the opposing queen? Very quick combination there. The spider threatened to pin the beetle, almost forcing the beetle to climb up, and the black beetle covered it. So stepanzo, however, has a problem in that he does not have all three of his top of hive bugs are currently tied up. Two of them are adequately pinned with inline pins. And the black beetle up here is tied down, pinning the white beetle underneath it. Okay, now that was an interesting. Quite often you see these kinds of moves when you want to control bug placement, or one game earlier in the week we saw where this type of move was made in order to put a spawn point for a grasshopper to attack. But as of right now, neither player has qualified for the win. Stepanzo needs to try to, oh, that's what it was. Spider, the ant moved because he didn't want to get pinned by the spider. So the question then becomes how, that's interesting. So he just warps the spider over one. Good example of re-indexing the spider. The spider no longer, previously it did not, when the ant moved, the spider did not have an angle of attack. By re-indexing it gains an angle of attack and pins that white ant. That puts Stepanzo in the lead in the ant game. The only mobile ant is his. The first top of hive bug that's up and unopposed is the mosquito. And so white will probably anchor down. Nope, he elected to bring in a spider here, threatening the black ant. And even if the black ant should move, white spider can still pin it. You never know in these games, but at this point, I would say that because white is going to be able to get a beetle up, white probably has the better winning chances right at the moment. The one thing I've learned playing players like Stepanzo, you never can rule them out. Just going back through my records, last year Stepanzo finished second. The previous year he finished third. We go all the way back to 2017. He finished in a third with tie for third and fourth with Quadlibet. And back in 2014 finished second. 2013 finished third. So Stepanzo has been playing for quite a while. Hasn't yet won the championship. So is this going to be his year? We'll see, won't we? Based on the predictions over at Discord, he's a 2-1 favorite. Okay, one of the things I always ask is when a player plays a bug, always ask yourself, where's it going? And it's interesting because unless it's a feint, trying to fake Aenorman out, Grasshopper's not going to any one of these spots that it can be warped to by the pill bug because it could have started there. And of course, if you go to here, then Queen just moves away. So is there an advantage to going to there? And the answer is yes, because okay, so he plays a beetle. They're playing very quickly. Oops, let me go back to here. So when the grasshopper came in, white beetle, black grasshopper, white beetle. Very, very quick turn of events. I thought that maybe Stepanzo was looking to warp his queen away, but now white has two top of hive bugs. Black has almost no chance whatsoever of qualifying for the win. Of course, there was a fight to see who could get their ants free, so we've got two ants mobile. White could lock in the black ant, either spot, but in this spot, black could very easily just pin it. Optionally, he can keep the ant in the cavern by spawning the grasshopper. Now let's look at if black does something like that to get the black queen away. Then later it could bring the ant over and warp the ant out. But he would be sacrificing his last bug in reserve. So White's plan here should be anchor down the mosquito. Let's see what's under the beetle. Anchor down the black beetle. Get the white mosquito and white pill bug on the move. He's got 2 bugs in reserve. Keep this ant mobile. The 2 top of hive bugs, the 2 bugs in reserve, and the mobile white ant should be enough. So the black ant moves over, but as soon as the black ant gets warped out, then the white ant is going to pin it. So white could anchor down the black beetle with the grasshopper, and the grasshopper could, by way of a hop around, get to that position. But again, white probably, if white elects to anchor, they would do it with the spider because that would leave the grasshopper available to attack. Okay, he moves forward with the beetle. Of course, the beetle's going to continue its march. And as soon as the black ant gets warped out, then it's going to get pinned by the white ant. As quite often happens in these types of games, one player ends up attacking, one player ends up defending, and often the only hope that the defender has is a draw. And white, of course, here is also looking at the possibility of forming a shutout. Bonzo doesn't have a lot of options. Of course, if he warps the ant away, it'll be immediately pinned. Can't move this spider because that releases this ant. If he moves the pill bug, then more than likely it would immediately get pinned and then anchored down, and then black would be forced to do something he wouldn't be happy doing. And I forgot the word. Of course, there's a chess term, Zugzwang, which we've uh, morphed it into a Hive term, Bugswang, when you're forced to make a move that you don't want to make. We also had another word that came up in the live stream a couple days ago. There's a Hive term, Weichenzug, which is an intermediate move. So Sylvain Solomon said we should call it Zweichenbug when we do it in the Hive, another Hive pun. Ponzo's in a deep think here, looking for any option whatsoever to defend. Oh, I just saw a note Mirmigi was quitting watching. Mirmigi is George Parnassus from Greece. He is also a member, and he rejoined over at Board Space. He's one of my teammates in the Hive team tournament. He qualified in Group G. Industus has joined as well. Okay, he warped the ant away. This should be a fairly easy move. Yep, he immediately pinned the ant. I think Stepanzo's defenses here are minimum. The black beetle, the black spider, neither one of them can realistically move. If the black spider moves, frees the white ant. The black beetle moves, it frees the. Although it's interesting because if he did, it would possibly free that ant underneath. Okay, he plays in the last grasshopper. Okay, that might be a good defense, a possible defense, because if black and do a hop around and pin the white ant, then the black queen can get warped away. I think Norman's best bet here is just to continue on with the beetle march. So we're 34 minutes in. Stepanzo's at a little over 8 minutes, and A.E. Norman's at 14 and counting. Okay. Okay, with the white spider placed there, of course, the most likely place it's going is there. Raise the white ant. So black gets warped to there. Of course, it does get. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting because if the pill bug goes to there and the white ant, the white spider releases this ant, then the black pill bug warps the white ant in, forcing something to happen with that. So that's what he did. He moved the black pill bug out. And the white beetle continues its relentless march forward. So now black is out of bugs in reserve, so he's only got 3 mobile bugs. So what's the pill bug going to do? If the black beetle were to move forward, white's best bet is probably to anchor down the black ant before advancing with the beetle. Although that last grasshopper would be well used down here as well, anchoring down this beetle. Okay, he does go ahead and advance the Ponzos, looking for means to defend. And the relentless march of the white beetle. So Stepanzo is no doubt fighting for the draw. Doesn't want to end up in a bug swing situation. That's interesting. By self-covering the pill bug, it frees this spider up. You know, this is an instructive position here as well, because if the white ant moves out to here to anchor down the black beetle, and then the mosquito begins its march. Greetings, George. He made a comment. Hi, George. Let's get back to here. Grasshopper jumped over with an angle of attack to there. Pill bug moves back in, threatening to warp the queen away. I would think it's more important to get the queen covered and anchored in place. That's what he's going to do. So this is where it's an advantage to keep that grasshopper in reserve, because we've got to. So let's see if white has enough bugs to deliver the victory. He's qualified for the win, finally by getting the queen covered. He moves out with the spider first. Then if he jumps in, I think with both of these beetles up, of course, the black beetle is coming back to defend. If white attacks right now with the grasshopper, one of the three black bugs has to move. That's the other option. Is to one advantage to doing it this way is if you get the spider out of the way, if this grasshopper moves, then the ant has an angle of attack to that spot. Thinking that the black beetle is going to move forward, trying to neutralize the white beetle. Bonzo's down to 6 minutes and counting. Only got 3 mobile bugs, the grasshopper, the pill bug, and the beetle. Going that way threatens to warp the ant out. Oops. That's interesting as well because the spider would have an angle of attack if this grasshopper jumped out as well. So if the white grasshopper attacks, oh, nope. We brought in the final white grasshopper, which has an angle of attack to that spot vacated by the ant. Okay, so the white beetle covers the, if the white beetle covers the ant, then the only mobile bug is the black beetle. That's interesting. You don't very often see these positions where this white spider has an angle of attack to that kill spot. The grasshopper jumps out, the white spider has an angle of attack to that kill spot. And so if the white spider goes to there, it has the added benefit of completely surrounding the pill bug. And like I mentioned earlier, if the ant goes out here and anchors down the black beetle, the white mosquito can begin a march, and then at any given time, the white ant can attack. That might be a possibility as well. Okay, what would happen if the beetle covers the beetle? Okay, he took the long-term approach, probably what I would have done as well. That's interesting. I was thinking that the mosquito could take the long march around. The mosquito can go there very quickly by dropping down, becoming an ant, and then coming over. Doesn't have to do the long march. I would have been almost tempted to anchor this bug down first and then move the spider into a kill spot. I'm moving around. I haven't moved any bugs. So white has to fill 4 kill spots, 5 if the grasshopper jumps out. That's very interesting. He goes ahead and attacks with the grasshopper, which frees the black ant. That's interesting. Hi, Fabio Ricci. Freeing the black ant does a couple different things that are not good for white. One of them, it gives black this bug that can now just move back and forth and kill time. Okay, interesting. The white spider goes in. White spider does a true pin on the black grasshopper. Okay, now the white mosquito can move forward into there. Yeah, so the white mosquito goes to there, the ladybug goes to there, the grasshopper goes to there. And that's one of the things you always want to be looking for in these end-game situations is look to see if there's a path to victory. And then if there is, then look to see ways that your opponent can defend against it. For the mosquito, if it gets to there, nothing can stop the ladybug. Black is almost in bug's wing. Here, shrink this a bit. One of the interesting things about Hive, because the hive grows and collapses and grows and collapses, you never know how big you need to have it. Okay, white beetle covers the black beetle. That's interesting as well because it now it creates a beetle gate, so the black pill bug cannot warp the white queen out through the beetle gate. Bonzo's down to 3 minutes. When it comes down to the last minute, he may just be moving it around, waste time. So that's okay. Well, yeah. So the plan now can be for the mosquito to take the setup shot here, threatening the ladybug to take the kill shot, but the pill bug can warp the queen to there, but the beetle can cover the pill bug, and then there's no defense against that. Well, I don't know. Maybe there is, Ken. No, because if he tries to form a ring, well, maybe. Ponzo's down to 2 minutes and counting. Aenorman43 is taking his time on this one to. So Fabio said, I just logged in. Wow, how are the queens so far away? I'll have to rewatch this. Check out my videos. I'm going to be doing these little 2 to 3 minute videos, which are Hive replay without comment, without commentary. And you can see that. Down to 30 seconds. Just makes a, of course, the white mosquito begins the march. Of course, at this level of play, the probability that your opponent makes a huge blunder is pretty slim, except it does occasionally happen, particularly under time pressure. I missed a couple things here. So the grasshopper went to there. Beetle cover to there. The grasshopper went to there. Okay, that's very interesting. That now if the mosquito, though it doesn't really matter. Somewhat over. Yep. Turn the Well, what a good game. Like I was saying, at this level of play, the probability that somebody makes a huge blunder is very slim. Let's take a look. Okay, game one is over. Let's see if they're going to play a game two. That one took about an hour. So I'm going to turn the review room off, turn the playroom off, back to the lobby. Norman, Alex asked, do you have time for another, or should we schedule another time? Okay, they are going to play a second game. They may have to. Wow, that was exciting. So let's go to my and we will add so AE Norman takes a one-game lead, and now they're going to be starting game two. So we'll have to see how it's going to turn out. Is Stepanzo going to be able to tie it up? So they're underway. I'll try to get caught up here as quickly as I can. With Stepanzo now playing white. It looks like AE Norman may be playing a nope, was not able to play a buffered defense. So let's see if I can get the other. Whoops, in the wrong spot. I don't know why I have so much trouble trying to get these OBS Studio to match Windows. So I'm trying to keep up here and get this window open. Okay, this is one of these days I'm going to figure this out. It's so irritating sometimes. So I am going to that. Okay, I finally got it going. I missed a little bit somehow in here. Let me make sure I'm up to date here. Okay, I believe I am. Well, hi, Dmitry. Dmitry Maximenkov, that's Max Shark. Welcome. Wow, it is going very, very quickly. We're only 8 minutes in, and A.E. Norman has already qualified, or on the verge of qualifying for the win. He elects to pin the ant this way. That removes this as a spawn point for a beetle. Then he can anchor down the ant and move forward with his beetle. Oops, hit the wrong button there. Of course, this round of 16 is a 4-game match, so if A.E. Norman wins this game, he'll have a 2-0 lead. All he'll need is a draw out of the last two. It'll put the pressure on Stepanzo to win the final two, force tiebreaks. So this second game is always very critical. Next log. We don't need to watch their mice. What I probably should do is turn sound on so I know when they've made a move. Now that's interesting. He does the inline pin on the ant. I would think that he would want to do the elbow pin to stop this. So, yeah, because he brings the beetle in right there. Okay, he's going to just do it with the second beetle. Spider virtually forces the second beetle up, and the white spider pins the black ant. The white has complete control of the outside of the hive. Black's got the two beetles up. Well, they're moving along very quickly in this one. Excuse me. And Stepanzo finds himself on the defense again. One major difference, however, is that Stepanzo has control of the outside of the hive. So if he has beetle in reserve plus his mosquito is available. Question will be, is he confident enough to go ahead and start his attack? If the black grasshopper jumps over, nothing can stop the black ladybug from jumping in. Then the question will be, will black be able to get to those final spots? So let's take a look at Stepanzo's. So if he brings the beetle to here, grasshopper jumps. Yeah, so you can't do that because you can't climb up because then that happens. So that beetle there is not a viable move. Beetle out to here. And the grasshopper jumps. So that would be worth looking at. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So he brings in a defending grasshopper. So the question is he going to be able to get? Okay, make sure I'm caught up here. Remember, there's a 3-minute delay, so Fabio is saying, but also I feel like that spot will be the last to fill. Yeah, so this spot, if it's the last one filled, that's a good thing because then if you take the kill shot into this spot, then you've got it won. But again, if you go ahead and attack to that spot, the ladybug is free, and the black ladybug can replace the white ladybug. Now let's see if a spider comes into here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, he brought in a grasshopper. White spider there is forcing the hand of the black grasshopper. Or maybe not. You know, that's interesting because white's going to get another ant free. And this is one of those irritating situations where you got a nice defending mosquito, but what's it going to do to attack? Well, they went through this very, very quickly. Black only needs to take the setup shot, and the beetle is available to take the kill shot, but that's going to be difficult getting the bug with an angle of attack to there. So they're moving along very, very quickly here. Less than 20 minutes in. So the question is, does black have, okay, now white brings in the beetle. White can get his beetle up and qualify for the win. White has lots of ants available. That's a good thing for white. So can black get this spot filled? That's the big question. So it is interesting situation here. Okay. See, white has so many defending ants. White has all three ants and the mosquito available. Okay, black could jump out with here, and then with the possibility of doing this, but that definitely takes a while. Make sure I'm back to where. Okay, and of course, if black jumps out, it just gets pinned. That could also possibility of something like this, but white just has so many defenders. Okay, black could do this, and then this, and then that. This. But if he goes to there, then the ladybug just moves. Got to keep that grasshopper available. That's the most likely bug that can get into one of these to take the setup shot. It looked like a few moments ago an unstoppable attack, and now it looks like it's very difficult. So let's see what happens if this grasshopper jumps out. That frees the. You don't want to leave that spot open. It would be nice if black's standpoint, if black could anchor down this grasshopper underneath the beetle and allow the beetle to move forward. But if you anchor it from this spot, this grasshopper can just jump over, or any bug can move into that spot. If you anchor it from there, then it's going to be difficult to get it into that spot. Particularly because of all of white's defending bugs. Oh, now what about something like this? Grasshopper to there. With double jump to get it to there. Is there a defense against that? Yes. Beetle goes up, grasshopper jumps, beetle covers it. So Aenorman is in a deep think here, approaching 12 and a half minutes. going to try something here. Let's go back a turn. He was at 2017. Oh, that's true too, because if the grasshopper comes in here, we've got a free ant that can pin it. Bonzo might have succeeded on his defense. Okay, if the black ladybug defends there, white mosquito qualifies for the win. So as long as white keeps the or black keeps this ring intact, the ant and the mosquito have to keep these bugs from moving. Black mosquito can jump out as grasshopper. Got to remember there's 3 minute difference between comments and so if it jumps out to there, it gets pinned by the white ant. It jumps to there, gets pinned by the white ant. If it jumps to there, it has to get pinned by the white mosquito, which does a couple different things. It makes the white mosquito somewhat powerless, but it also blocks in that white ant. So Alex is continuing on a deep think here. Of course, if you go this direction, white just covers it, and even if the black queen gets warped away, white will more than likely win this with all of his excess mobility. I don't think that Mosquito next to queen, then with pill bug power fill last spot to free the ant. So if the black mosquito jumps to there, white just covers it. So this still might be the best bet. Ladybug to there. Oh, be interesting to know what he's thinking about. See, I looked at that, which that has a good good goal of going there to there, but I think it immediately gets pinned by this ant. Yep. I think that's a no-brainer. The only question is, does he pin it from there, or did he pin it from there? And I think the answer is from here because you don't want the spider spawning there. By the way, a couple of you have, I think, already seen my replays without comments. Were you okay with the music in the background? Or do you have a preference as to a different kind of music? Okay. Okay, interesting. Because that spider can have an angle of attack to the spot vacated if the grasshopper jumps out. The ladybug can go to there, spider to there, and then the ladybug to there. Now, can stepanzo defend against that? Obviously, the ladybug can't go to there immediately because the queen would escape. If he climbs up, ladybug goes there, he goes there. Yeah, he might have found a method. Interesting. And of course, if white, because one of the defenses that you have against a player playing into his own kill spot is, imagine for a minute the pillbug weren't here. If white were to play the bill and then black couldn't do that because the white would immediately win. But here, white does that, black can just warp the queen away. Interesting. Oh, that deep think by Aenorman may have come up with something. And it's interesting, the complexity tree in Hive, there may not be, although at this situation, there are so many moves, but so many of them are just ridiculous. But there are still strategies involved that are very interesting and somewhat unique. So if the beetle goes up, he just goes ahead with his plan. So that doesn't work. Okay, he's going up with the beetle. Now let's see if A.E. Norman. Oh, see, that might be interesting because if black plays to there, does white win the race? I don't think so. Let's see. So if the ladybug goes to there, see that, yep, he still has to qualify for the win. That's the thing. Okay, so I was thinking that A.E. Norman had the plan with the ladybug spider maneuver, but let's see if that's the case. I have to keep checking to make sure that I put all the bugs back after I've been playing around a while. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought his plan was. Now, could white do some sort of a spider intercept? Actually, place the grasshopper there, intercepts that spider from that spot. And if the mosquito goes to there, he just covers the. So black's threat is spider, and then either ladybug or mosquito, and then beetle. If white does that, white, okay. So black came up with an ingenious attack. Can Stepanzo come up with an ingenious defense? So if he plays the spider intercept there, does black have any chance? Goes there, back to there, the mosquito loses ladybug power. Very complex situation. I think it's going to hinge around if the black spider gets into this kill spot. I don't think there's any defense for white, so white has to stop that. Okay, and we're running down on time. Bonzo is 4:45 and counting. A.E. Norman's at 3:15. So let's hope Stepanzo doesn't come up and say, I've got to uh, adjourn. There's no official way of adjourning, but the unofficial way, which is the player whose turn it is sends an email to the Hive tournament email address with the essentially a sealed move. Then when they rejoin, he has to make that move. And I did not see any defense other than that grasshopper. So these moves were all very somewhat forced. Although I don't see how black can get okay, I don't see how black can get a bug into position. White has too much mobility. And one of them is a beetle, or one of them is a mosquito, which can get beetle power. Yep, I don't think, because I think now that thanks to Ponza. So Danielle, do you like the I don't know that I would have brought the mosquito to there because for white to win, he has to qualify for the win. Okay, maybe he'll put him in Bug's Wang. The question will be, can Stepanzo get down there to... Stepanzo is no doubt trying to go get Black into Bug's Wang. Okay. Black has 4 bugs that are mobile, 2 spiders, and a beetle and mosquito atop the hive. I think Black lost his opportunity to win. Now just looking to keep Stepanzo from winning. Although we're both running down in time, so 2 and 17 for the Stepanzo, under 2 for Alex. I think the most important thing here is for Stepanzo to keep pressuring. Now Black's only moves are going to free up a top of hive bug. And Stepanzo has enough mobility that he'll be able to. So I think we're headed toward a draw in this match as well after 2. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh no. White beetle can't move. Okay, I missed a couple moves in there. So it's still, white is going to still have trouble getting, because white has to be very careful that, decided maybe not to do that. White has to be very careful to make sure that he doesn't allow a black bug into here when he frees a bug that can take the setup shot, because the black beetle is threatening right there. Take the kill shot. Looks like Stepanzo has a plan. All black can do is move the ladybug back and forth. Does Stepanzo have a method to his madness? Okay, it looks like notice how he timed it so that he jumps into there when the ladybug is not into that position. Oh, maybe he's not going into there yet. Okay, so White has to qualify for the win by covering the queen. Then he's got to be able to attack with bugs other than the. His setup shot comes with an ant, which frees a black bug that can take a setup shot and still win by one tempo. So that's the plan. That's the goal. Will he be able to work it out? Oh, is that a mistake? Did that freeze the mosquito? Now he doesn't qualify for the win anymore. I missed something here. Okay. White can qualify for the win by getting the beetle over to here, but the question will be, will he be able to stay that one tempo ahead? And all those really quick moves by Aenorman allowed him to build up some time, so he's back up to 445. Okay, it looks like we were having problems there for a minute. Okay, so what's going on here? I missed something while I lost my internet. Just lost my internet, so bear with me while I try to get logged back in. I momentarily lost my internet, so I'm not going to be able to get my review room open. Hopefully, I'm back and broadcasting. And I missed it. I missed the ending. Unbelievable. Okay. So let's see if we are still up and going. Okay, I'm going to Okay, sorry about that. I can't believe it. I lost internet right at the critical time in the game. So I am going to Okay, I'm going to try to review this room at the very end because I lost my internet connection. So Norman is trying to fight to keep available. And Stepanzo made a horrible blunder. He jumped in with a grasshopper when the ladybug was in that position. Wow, that's what happens. Wasn't under that much time pressure either. So what an interesting way. Feel bad for Stepanzo, but it was a really good fight. So Aenorman takes a 2-0 lead. So we will see if what ends up happening on that. So let me close out of a couple things here. I'm going to reopen this window, change that to 2. So there we have it. Aenorman ended up winning both games today. So he takes a lead, a 2-0 lead over Stepanzo. And the other interesting thing is, let's go back to the predictions over at Discord. 13 of the 19 people picked Stepanzo to win this match. So a 2-1 uh, odds for Stepanzo, but Aenorman has a 2-game lead. Stepanzo is going to have to win games 3 and 4 to force tie breaks. So all Aenorman will need is a draw in the last either of the last two games to advance with an upset. But as we all know, you can't play for a draw. You have to play for a win. If you start the game playing for a draw, you end up losing. I've learned that on numerous occasions. So that's it for now. Congratulations to A.E. Norman for his victories today. And as always, don't forget, if you haven't already, link down below to Play Hive Like a Champion, Hive Lexicon, and the Standard Hive opening encyclopedias, and also a link to the Canon of Hive groundwork. As soon as it's available, Canon of Hive openings, I'm hoping to do a live stream with Joe. Of course, he was hoping to get the book out before the tournament season. Hasn't happened yet. I've seen a preliminary copy. It should be excellent, very beneficial for everybody. But my guess is he's probably not spending a lot of time on it. He's probably spending his Hive time prepping for defense of his championship. As always, let's see, do I have I don't have something I can show you on the display, but there's a link down below if you'd like to make a small cash contribution to my channel. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link as well. So thank you very much for joining me. This has been 2.5 hours this morning. There's 2 more matches scheduled yet today. Probably not going to be able to talk through both of them, but you never know. Depends on how things go. So thanks for watching. As always, I'm here helping you play Hive like a champion. Till next time, this is Randy Ingersoll signing off.